back with another video for you, and this video idea kind of came to me a few days ago and I'm just getting around to making it now. But basically, what makes an action figure good? And what I mean is, what do I base sort of how do I determine if an action figure is a good action figure? And there are a lot of factors to it. You probably have a good idea as how I classify a good action figure based on my reviews, if you watch my reviews. And like I said, there's a lot of factors to it. Personal bias is definitely in there, but there are a lot of other things that come into play. And essentially, what makes a good action figure? How can you consider what is a good action figure and what's not a good action figure? These sort of things. And I just kind of wanted to put it in a video and address how I sort of distinguish what is a good action figure. So I'm going to not talk about the bias thing because it doesn't really come into play. It's more your personal sort of thing. I'm going to try and do the unbiased sort of how I unbiasedly choose what is a good action figure. And it's basically 3 categories like I do in my reviews. Paint and sculpt, accessories, and articulation. I think that these 3 things are what make a good action figure, and there's some other little things thrown along in there, so maybe those are the 3 main categories, and those categories kind of have subcategories. Like when it comes to sculpt, likeness to actual characters potentially comes into factor as well. But first, the paint and sculpt part of it. The first part is if a figure has a really good sculpt, and a really good sculpt means detailed, potentially has good likeness to whatever character is trying to portray, and good proportions, good scaling. Those are sort of the 3 things I sort of take into account when it comes to sculpting. Paint, accurately done, so not sloppy or anything. The colors are right, and so I guess accuracy again is another factor in that. And does the paint bring out the details, or is it unnecessary? Which there is sometimes unnecessary paint and sometimes there's not enough paint. Ideally, the perfect action figure would have great sculpt that's accurate and well proportioned, and good paint apps that really make the figure pop and bring out those details. Paint apps that fail to bring out the sculpt weaken the figure. Articulation is another big thing with making of good action figures. It's called action figure for a reason. I can think of a good few examples of figures that have great in other spots, but just articulation just blows. Like I want to get that new Spawn figure from McFarlane because the sculpt is really good, but the articulation is absolutely trash because he doesn't want to add articulation to ruin the sculpt, which I can sort of see where he's coming from to a degree. But if you're going to make an action figure, you got to put articulation in, man. And that figure just has like none. It's just pretty much a statue. So if you're going to be an action figure, you can't be a statue. And so articulation takes a big factor. And in this day and age, it's ball hinges, ball hinges, all that sort of stuff, rockers and whatnot. That's what makes another factor that makes good action figures. Articulation, so you can get dynamic poses, or at the very least, poses that are accurate to the character. So, you should be getting dynamic poses out of your Deadpool and dynamic poses out of your Scarif Troopers, and you can get those poses, which is a reason what makes them great action figures. You can get those really good action poses. A really big part of action figures is articulation, so that's why I sometimes don't understand why they make 5 POA Star Wars figures, why McFarlane fucks his figures with no articulation. I don't see why they do that, and then why they decide to call them, why they just even dare to claim them action figures. I can get the Star Wars 5 POA a little bit because that's where the roots come from, but McFarlane, like, come on. So articulation is a big part of what makes a good action figure. And then lastly, accessories. Generally speaking, I do like it when my figures are packed really well with lots of accessories, though it's situational with accessories. A figure, at the very least, should have accessories that are appropriate for them to have, and then if they have extra accessories, it just puts them above and beyond, makes them even better. But to be a good action figure, they have to have at least accessories that make sense. So, for example, Darth Vader, 3 3/4 inch, comes with his lightsaber and on the lightsaber. That's all he really needs. Sure, could he have come with other stuff? Probably, but he came with the things that he needed to have. Um, and then other things like Venom, sure, he came with stuff that he needed to have, and he came with even more, which is great. So accessories is another big part of action figures. Not always huge. You don't always have to be packed with accessories, just the accessories that make sense that they should have and be included no matter what. Like Darth Vader not coming with his lightsaber is it's treason. And I'm going to be calling Mace Windu and the Jedi Council to come arrest you, Sheev. But excuse me, but yeah, accessories that make sense. And then just in front of you here, I'm just showing you just a selection of what I consider good action figures. Some people might disagree with me with Darth Vader. That's personal bias. But everything else here, I'd say, pretty much classifies as a good action figure. Delta Squad, 3 3/4 inch figures have great paint apps for the most part, great articulation, and accessories that are appropriate. Same with Darth Vader, which I just explained. These Black Series 6-inch figures, the Scarab Trooper doesn't come with a lot of accessories, but he comes with the accessories that he needed to come with, and he has great articulation, great sculpt, and great paint apps. Darth Krennic, same deal. Darth Revan, again, great articulation, great paint apps and sculpt. The soft goods also really well done. That's another thing, I guess, in the sculpting and paint apps section. Soft goods that work well and make sense, that aren't like really big hoods and whatnot, that work well with the figure. And Darth Revan does a lot of this stuff right. Deadpool, good sculpt. Paint apps could be a little better, but nothing too major. Great articulation and a ton of accessories. Makes him really, really cool and a great action figure. Just really one of the biggest definitions of a great action figure is that Deadpool right there. And then some of my favorite figures, the Marvel Select Venom and Carnage. Again, two really good examples, in my opinion, of really good action figures. Excellent sculpts, great paint apps, especially the re-released version of Venom. Articulation's really good, more so on Carnage, but really good. And accessories, they go above and beyond, giving them what they should have and more, which is very impressive, and I'm very happy with that. And that's what I think makes a good action figure. So yeah, this is just a little video I just kind of thought of. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's all I really have to say. I'd like to know what your guys' thoughts are of how you classify a good action figure in the comments down below. Or if you want to make a video, that's cool too. I'd do whatever you want. I'd like to, though, if you do a video, that'd be cool. I'd like to watch your guys' videos on that. But if you just want to leave a comment and let me know how you determine what makes a good action figure, I'm very interested to know. That's how all these things I've said is how I determine what a good action figure is. So leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.